They're faced with a situation where they have short-term funding issues. Longer term, they know their profitability will be suppressed. And in that macroeconomic situation, how do they really continue to meet some of these targets, which are really very aggressive in terms of how the regulators are driving it and how the broader public is behind them as well.
The biggest challenge and the biggest frustration from industry participants that we see is the need for a constant interpretation, to kind of receive something over the wall, to have to scroll through the pages to understand what was really required, because they were already kind of moving in that direction anyway.
I think they're wide and they're varied, and it depends who you're talking to. And they range from simply, we haven't got enough people to do this, we know what we want to do, we haven't got the time or the people or sometimes the budgets yet.
The sheer size of the changes that you're looking at for big data, accessing data, auditing of data that are coming out of the Dodd-Frank regulation, the sheer cost of infrastructure is going to be very challenging for some firms to overcome.
I think one of the things we are keen to avoid, and was resonated in the original G20 declaration, is avoiding the potential for duplicative or potentially conflicting legislation. Because that leaves us in a very difficult space where you can potentially have one trade that is treated very differently in one jurisdiction to another, which is what potentially leads on to one of the words we're keen to avoid, but it's regulatory arbitrage.
The electronification of trades will be very difficult due to the aggressive timeframes set forth by the CFTC. The volume of trades, we are going to have the new phase-in of new products as they get established, and we also have to deal with the electronification of bespoke traditional paper trades.
There's been effort to look at these unique identifiers, so the product identifiers, legal entity identifiers, swap identifiers, etc. So progress has been made, some temporary solutions have been put in place, but I think realistically, we understand that for standardization, we actually need all of those components to come together.
A lot of us have, in the main, worked in banks or in service providers, so we have in-depth knowledge of not just subject matter expertise, but the whole evolution of what's going on, so understanding all the nuances of how we've got here.
Not only are we active in understanding and in areas shaping global legislation, we are actively involved with the clients as well in terms of how to respond to that legislation. So it's quite a compelling offering when you're able to understand the business problem and you have experience of building the technical solutions that enable people to become compliant. I think when you couple that with a project discipline that assures the regulatory reporting framework that you put in place, that it ensures its quality and ensures it's going to meet the timeliness and data requirements, and is able to engage the client to really understand the business problem, it's a compelling offering.
So as a company, we've developed a tool called CMOS, which helps firms provide a one-stop shop around regulatory reporting, specifically targeted at Dodd-Frank, so it can take data feeds in from their source systems and translate them into a SDR compliant format.
I think mostly people are really focused on the US and expecting whatever infrastructure they put in place for responding to the Dodd-Frank is going to be the baseline for doing anything else, any other kind of reporting that they have to do. And we're kind of adopting that point of view as well. Even the CMRS reporting tool that we have is built to allow for, once you set it up for one jurisdiction, you can turn it on for other jurisdictions.
So it's an area that's very close to us, that's going through a as people say, once in a generation transformation. And we're sitting there with all the tools required to drive that change.